Good morning, everyone. Pleasure and honor to be here with Adrian. Was a little bit nervous when you described all the rules by which you conduct yourself at this meeting. It sounds like nothing like what we do at legislature. But then, since you use a couple of heavies at the door to squeeze votes out of people, that sort of started making me feel a little bit more like at home. So this is good. Thank you for having me. It's great to be part of your meeting, and perhaps it gives me an opportunity to share with you some of the thoughts that have been preoccupying me over the last few months and definitely will be affecting you. And it has a little bit to do with the last comments made here at the podium about aging. Well, personally, I don't think that affects me, but you judge for yourself. But when you look at statistics, aging is something that we just can't deny. And frankly, I don't want to, often politicians will come to a breakfast meeting and they'll pump you up full of sunshine, and it makes you feel really good in the morning until you go outside and you say, well, the world really isn't like he said it would be. And I will do the opposite. I'll tell you actually that there are some very serious issues facing us here in Alberta and in Canada that we need to look at very seriously. And I noticed on your agenda at 1:30 you will be talking about labor force, and that's something that I want to make a couple of comments on. It will be affecting you as a profession. It will be affecting you as Albertans and as Canadians. And it's something that we need to address together as government and a variety of industries. And the reason is that we're actually walking into a perfect storm. It never has happened really in the history of our planet that such a labor force storm would occur all at once. And what are the variables? Well, number one, this year, 2011, is actually a very important year for not only Canadian but Western world's labor force. This is the first year that baby boomers started retiring. They have just reached the age of 65. Now, superimposed on that, in Canada and in most of Western Europe, our natural population growth is virtually at zero, just slightly above zero, which means we're hardly replacing ourselves as a population. So what that really means that for every worker that will retire from now on, roughly 0.8 of a worker will be entering our workforce. So we will be losing workers in all sectors on an ongoing basis. So you're looking at this massive exodus of workers, but also a massive exodus of skills. These are the most experienced individuals at the end of their career. If that wasn't bad enough, our economic prognosis, no matter whom you listen to, are quite optimistic, particularly for the province of Alberta. And lastly, if that wasn't bad enough, if you ask these retiring workers, they won't tell you the truth, but I can tell you the numbers speak for them. They are the richest cohort of retirees that this planet has ever seen, which means that they will be consumers. They will be expecting a good quality of life, and so they should, which means that they will want their coffee shop to be open at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the nurse to be there when they need one, and the doctor, and the list will go on and on. And that, again, will require workers. So when you put this all together, what it really means is that we will have a severe shortage of workers in this country for many years to come. And that will affect all of you, because what you will see happening is you will see industries literally poaching workers one off of another based on skill sets, and you will see the cost of labor going up accordingly as well. So what are we going to do about it? Well, there are a number of things that you can do. You can do this and attract young people into your profession and enhance the image of the profession and make it a profession of choice for kids who are now perhaps in grade 7, 10, 11. So they look at your profession as a profession of choice and they educate themselves accordingly. But that perhaps may not be enough. We need to look at groups within our population that are unemployed or chronically underemployed. And who are they? Well, our Aboriginal population, persons with disabilities, and believe it or not, women. We find that women chronically in Canada are either unemployed or underemployed, and the reason for that is when they leave workforce for family purposes, we're still a traditional society, they find it very difficult to get back into their profession, particularly on part-time or job-sharing basis. So those are some of the mechanisms that we will have to look at as professions and as government. But at the end of the day, even if we were to be naive enough to believe that every single Canadian will be employed to the maximum of her ability, that still won't be enough. The numbers simply are not there. So we will have to look at immigration as a source of labor, and that is immigration that is targeted immigration based on skill sets. And you probably, if you read papers or listen to news, you will have heard me talk about the fact that we need to focus on immigration that is based on skills and not geographic locations. And perhaps our neighbors to the South Americans would be a very good source of that kind of immigration, and not temporary anymore, because we know that the shortages will be permanent. So we need permanent immigrants, and I think as good neighbors, we should be considering U.S. as a first choice of workers for this particular province. So this is what is keeping me awake at night right now, because I know that this will affect our industries, and this is the only cloud really hanging over the province of Alberta and over our country into the future. Because other than that, prognoses are really optimistic. Countries throughout the world, countries throughout Asia and Europe would love to be in our position, where we have the natural resources, prices of commodities, including your commodities, moving up, new markets opening up like China, India, and other parts of the world. But the only thing that's holding us back now is competitiveness and our ability to produce the product and deliver it to market at a reasonable cost with labor back here. So you are partners in this. We will have to work on it together. If there is anything that our ministry can do to collaborate with you on enhancing the profession's image and attracting young people into your profession, that is something that we need to work on together. You will probably have to look into collaboration with other allied professions and work together as a cohesive unit to get that economy of scale and maximize on professions and have that transferability of skills from one profession to another, from one province to another. Those are areas that we will have to focus on, because if we don't do anything, as I said earlier, the future, don't care what TELUS tells you, the future is not friendly. We will have some serious issues on that front. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to this doom and gloom first thing in the morning, but a little bit of a dose of reality. And I hope your discussion at 1:30 on labor force will focus on some of these challenges. If there is anything you think that our ministry could be doing in collaboration with your industry as a result of today's meeting, do let us know. Adrian, as you know, is working with your organization and is always available to listen to you, and so am I. So I'm looking forward to some input from you, particularly on that one issue, but I know you have many other important topics to discuss. So thank you very much. Thank you for including me in your meetings, and I wish you a very successful AGM. Thank you. God bless you all.